Mabuhay! My name is Fred Jock Dossel with Mabuhay Credit Union, and it is once again my pleasure and my privilege to welcome you all back to another episode of Mabuhay Community Corner. If you haven't visited with Mabuhay Community Corner before, this show is a vlog and a podcast that aims to highlight and to honor our Mabuhay community. As we wrap up the first season of our show, let's take a moment to look back at all of the interesting folks that we've had the pleasure of visiting with us here at Mabuhay Community Corner so far. As you know, we had started this vlog and podcast on the fourth quarter of 2020, and we had an opportunity to revisit the first 5 episodes that we did during our episode 6, our New Year recap episode, which we'll be linking in the description down below. For episode 7, we visited with Consul Dyan from the Philippine Consulate General in Los Angeles, who shared with us the many ways that the Philippine Consulate serves our Mabuhay community here in Southern California and the rest of their territory in the southwestern United States.
Of course, aside from our consular services, we also continue to serve our kababayans, overseas Filipinos in distress, through our Assistance to Nationals program, or ATN in short. This includes handling human trafficking cases, domestic violence, attending to the needs of Filipino detainees, shipment of remains, repatriation, and many more. I handle that with my ATN officer, Hazel Mendoza. Aside from that, we also have our engagement with the community as well as the implementation of our cultural programs, and I am assisted in that area by our cultural officer, Dolores Sales.
On episode 8, we visited with the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of SouthBay, Los Angeles area, specifically with the president, Janice Jimenez, who shared with us how our partners at FACC-SLAA represent and uplift our entrepreneurs, business owners, and professionals within our Mabuhay and greater community.
We are also culturally embedded. And I think that's what makes us kind of unique, because even though we are a chamber of commerce, we never forget our roots. And, we always support FilAm. I know we're not exclusive. I have to stress that we're not exclusive to FilAms, but we do our best, that we don't leave anybody behind.
During episode 9, the President of Disability Services of 24-Hour Home Health Care, Stephanie Medina, visited with us to talk about home care and caregiving as it relates particularly to our Mabuhay community.
When she referred me to 24-Hour Home Care, the company was only about a year and a half old. It was a startup company in the home care industry. And so I kind of fell into it, but I quickly realized that it was something I was missing in my life, which was a rewarding career of being able to impact people's lives. And so now I get to do it, and I've been doing it for the past 11 years.
In episode 10, Tita Evelyn Andamo, one of our Mabuhay Credit Union Advisory Council members, who also serves as the administrator of the Carson Adult Day Healthcare Center, visited with us and discussed the essential services that her Adult Day Healthcare Center provides our Mabuhay and greater community from out of her clinic here in the city of Carson, California.
The most important thing to remember is that they have multiple diagnoses. So they start, say, from 2 or more diagnoses. So they're very much in need of rehabilitation services, without which there would be 2 things that would happen to them. One is that they would have the revolving syndrome, where they get in and out of hospitals, of hospitalization. And the other one is they would end up in nursing homes, being institutionalized, instead of having the ability to age at home. So what the Department of Aging, the state of California, wanted to do was to prevent those 2 scenarios. So they have opened centers like ours that would provide outpatient rehabilitation services for the mentally challenged as well as the physically challenged.
For episode 11, another member of our advisory council, Chef Lemuel Guiyab of Silog Filipino Fusion Restaurant, visited with us and shared the various essential services that his restaurant provides our Mabuhay and greater community, despite the added challenges brought about by the global COVID-19 pandemic.
But at the same time, we wanted to do something positive for the community. I remember around that time, everyone was scared, like the news was all negative. We just wanted to do something that will cheer up the community, our fellow kababayans. So, and we all know how hard the frontliners do for us. How much sacrifice they do every time they go to work, the amount of risk they have to take every time they go to work. So, we decided to cheer them up. I mean, we were closed anyway, and we had extra inventory in the fridge, in the freezer. So we decided to provide meals for the local hospitals in SouthBay. And next thing you know, we posted a couple of those pictures online, and people kind of saw it and started hitting me up asking, hey, can we sponsor you guys, including you guys, right? Mabuhay, some other local companies in SouthBay, they were hitting me up asking how they can donate food to local hospitals. So it became something positive.
During episode 12, the president of the Filipino Young Leaders Program, Louella Cabalona, visited with us and talked about how our young leaders of FYLPRO are serving and making an impact on our national and even global Mabuhay community.
In terms of industry, it's a wide variety, and I think that's one of the unique attributes of this non-for-profit organization, because it's not industry based, it's also not school based. So you've got teachers and nurses alongside businessmen and lawyers and judges and people in tech and creatives as well. So it's a wide breadth of expertise that you will find, um, all young leaders between the ages of 25 to 40 at the time that they were selected. And so I really am very proud of this group of individuals that are all high performing leaders in our community. And it's a pleasure that we get to be in a space where we can share our advocacies and our passions as well.
In episode 13, the Council of Young Filipino Americans in Medicine, or CYFAM, represented by their founder, Dr. Antonio Moya, MD, MPH, and future Dr. Catherine Chua, visited with us and discussed the value that our young frontliners are providing our Mabuhay and greater community, particularly during a global pandemic.
COVID-19 has severely affected so many different communities in the United States and also in the Philippines. As a young Filipino-American doctor, it's been very challenging to see how much my patients have suffered from this disease, especially at the beginning of this pandemic. And CFAM actually helped to provide a platform for which me and a lot of our fellow young Filipino doctors were able to talk about the challenges that we had day in and day out, talk about the challenging situations we've had with patients, especially when we didn't know much about COVID-19. This was at the very beginning of the pandemic, around March 2020 in the US. So much has changed since then, and as I've talked to with you about before, really having the vaccines is a game changer, especially since so many of us are, frontline workers in the hospitals, as nurses, as young physicians, as established physicians. The COVID-19 vaccine has really given us a lot of safeguard against this virus.
Finally, for episode 14, Commissioner Alex Cainglet, the chairman of the Philippine Independence Day Foundation Incorporated, who is also another member of our advisory council here at Mabuhay Credit Union, visited with us to talk about how PIDF partners with the city of Carson to spearhead the celebration of the annual Philippine Independence Day Festival here in the city of Carson, California.
Again, that what's make it unique because our organization is made up of all volunteers. A lot of my volunteers here, our volunteers, contribute their own resources. We raise our own funds to defray the cost. It's not cheap to run this large-scale organization on this large-scale celebration. The city of Carson, although we partner with them, they provide with us an in-kind labor, an in-kind donation. But for the most part, the foundation, along with a lot of volunteers and different community partners with the city of Carson, they are the one that make this successful. We are the volunteers that just basically the steering committee for our event. But however, it's very rewarding for all our members, our community partners, that we're able to do that with with very little. Well, not little, but there's a lot of involvement with our business partners as well.
There you have it, folks. This officially concludes our first ever season of Mabuhay Community Corner vlog and podcast. We will be taking a break for the summer before coming back with season 2 later this year. We sincerely appreciate all of our viewers and listeners, especially our subscribers and followers, for your invaluable support by liking, following, and sharing our show. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe and follow our channel and the rest of our social media accounts. This way, you get regular updates on the rest of the content that we put up as we continue in our mission of advancing prosperity for our Mabuhay community. In closing, allow me to share with you today's penny for your thoughts. Sinimulang gawain ay tapusin mo, bago gumawa ng panibago. This means finish what you started before commencing a new project. My name again is Fred Jock Dossel, and this has been Season 1 of our Mabuhay Community Corner. Salamat, stay safe, and mabuhay! Subscribe.